We do want to talk about something that is a bit of a concern that they have not really recognized this or even realized this is actually happening to them, Nabil.
Well, actually, Mio, I guess football and this topic that we're going to talk about after this, actually, I think they have something in common. Because I see that a lot of football players, when they're playing football on the pitch, most of them, they usually look calm and poised. But inside, there are a lot of things going on. Whether they're going to win the match or not, are they performing or not, are their teammates performing or not, is the coach laying out the right tactics? And that is something that we actually do, that is actually a common behavior. Sometimes we do keep our poise, we do look calm and composed, but inside, a lot of things are going on, and that is actually the dark syndrome. Of course, I'm not doing justice to giving a good definition of this topic, but that is why we have an expert in the studio with us, a clinical psychologist. But he says that he's a cynical psychologist.
So we're going to find out more about him, and we have in the studio together with us, once again, we have Professor Dr. ALVIN Laeun, a clinical psychologist from the SUNWAY University. Prof, good morning. Thank you for joining us once again.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
All right, before we get into the Duck syndrome and what it's all about, first question, who's your team for the final? Who are you picking between Argentina and France?
I'll go with France.
You go with France. Is it because my head is so shining that you can't really make your decision, hence why you went with Nabil? Or
because he looks more like Maradona.
Actually you are right. I have the hair thing going on, Doctor.
Fair enough. Hence why he's...
Wrong jersey, wrong jersey.
Wrong jersey.
We should have swapped. Okay, Doctor. So let's start with the first question.
It's Mbappe.
Mbappe, I don't think so. I think he's a bit too advanced for his age to be that.
All right, moving on, yes.
I was giving a bad definition of Down syndrome just now, Doctor. I'm hoping that you could give us a better definition.
Well, I think it's pretty much on point. Duck syndrome is basically, it's like a duck where you are paddling nicely, you look all right above water, but underwater you are frantically paddling. So it reflects people who want to seem like they are doing really okay, that everything in life is like tip-top, but underneath they're struggling. And this duck syndrome basically means that you are so struggling, but you don't want to show it for whatever reasons. And the reason why it's called a syndrome is because it is unhealthy if you carry on for too long. Although I must say that duck syndrome, it is not an official mental disorder. It is merely a symptom. Like we can cough, and it can be a symptom of many things. You can cough because we are sarcastic, also can. It's like, that kind of stuff. So that's basically duck syndrome. And the focus tends to be more towards emerging adults and teenagers who are very influenced by social media. So on social media, you want to seem like you're having the best life in the world. But no one knows you're struggling, and you don't want to show that you're struggling.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, because reason being is that what makes it very interesting when you talk about duck syndrome, again, the analogy is there. When you talk about duck syndrome, like you said, it's imagining a duck over on the waters, on the water, all calm and again poised and whatnot. But the legs are kicking like nobody's business because again you're trying to move here, there, and everywhere. You're giving that perception, you're giving that illusion that everything is fine at the top, but the struggles are there at the bottom. But no one can actually see it, and you're sort of like faking it, or you're lying to yourself in a way.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you're faking it. You may not be lying to yourself. Inside, you probably know that you're struggling, but you're afraid to show it in public.
You said something about social media, about how teenagers are more easily influenced by external factors. Keeping up appearance is a normal thing. I think most of us do it every day. I'm doing it right now.
Me too.
You are too. But
I'm on TV.
Other than that, Doctor, what are the other causes of duck syndrome?
Well, causes are, well, as with anything, in psychology, we want to focus on a combination of factors. There's biology, there's psychology, which is the way you think, the way you behave, and then there's social, biopsychosocial factors. They're all in it together. And usually people will blame the person, it's the way you think, you need to be more positive, that kind of thing. And sometimes telling people to be more positive makes them duck even more. You're ducking the issue.
Nice wordplay.
If you show that you're struggling, something like, come on lah, Nabil, be positive, you're okay. And sometimes when you hear that, you really don't want to show because you're afraid that you get rejected. And we human beings, we don't like being rejected. We really hate being rejected. We want to be accepted, and if better, celebrated. So we want to offset the fear of rejection by showing yourself to be successful.
And one of the causes, again, this is me just making an assumption whether you agree with me or not. Again, being Malaysian, being Asian in general, we've always been in that situation where we are always to follow what our parents say, tell, and you know, especially in studies, especially in life. You know, I remember my father giving me a hard time. Again, I love you, Abba. But then again, I mean, it gives me that motivation. It pushes me to do the best that I can. But deep down inside, that could also be a contributing factor of somebody having Down syndrome. Definitely, right?
Sure. Yes, I mean, that's the social part. You know, monkey see, monkey do. So in little monkey sees big monkey, I'm not calling parents monkey, but you know, like, a lot of animals here, duck, monkey.
Yeah. Again, we're going to have crocodile soon, yeah. Okay.
No, it's modeling.
Yeah.
Modeling can lead to Down syndrome. At the same time, also the way you think. You know, for me, it's more towards an irrational belief that in order for you to be successful in life, you must show yourself to be successful, and you must be accepted by everyone, to the point that you are so afraid to get rejected.
Yeah.
And lost my train of thought. Anyway.
Okay.
So in order to be
giving you a chance
accepted,
here, okay?
you want to show that you're okay.
All right, okay.
So it's kind of like, it's as though you believe it is not okay to be not okay. And this is why we want to tell people it's okay to be not okay. I mean, put it this way, if I ask for help, I'm more likely to get help than not asking for help.
Sure, of course.
Because faking it is not sustainable if you are struggling. You know.
But then again, some, I mean, like not all cases, but some, the society actually ridicules you. Seeing that, oh, you're weak, you're asking for help. You should not be asking for help. You should be able to actually do it yourself. And that is the fear of an individual of wanting to go get help, wanting to shout out, wanting to, you know, get a helping hand and whatnot.
Yeah. So that's society, which is why it's a mishmash of all these factors. And then there's biology as well.
Oh.
You know, if you have got neurotransmitters, which are our brain's grab drivers, you know, bringing around all kinds of chemicals that's good for your brain. If there's some imbalance there, it can lead to you feeling depressed. And sometimes when you're depressed, it also affects the way you think. You may start thinking, oh, no one will help me, I'm useless, but I need to show that I'm okay. So you get all these irrational kind of beliefs, mistakes in thinking happening in your brain because of your biology, which is why it's important to have breakfast.
I had mine this morning.
Yeah,
I'm feeling better already.
Yeah.
There you go. Ta-da!
Okay, a question, doctor. Just now you mentioned something about sometimes they know that they're struggling inside, but they try very hard to put on a good appearance, right? I wonder, how would I know if I have Down syndrome? Because this thing could be dangerous in the long term.
Yes.
How do I identify?
Yeah, I mean, it's a symptom of something that could be deeper. It could be depression. You could have an anxiety disorder. All right, how would you know is you firstly, if you feel stuck and you feel the need to show that you're okay, but you know you're not okay, and you feel as though asking for help is something you won't do, I would say don't duck the issue.
Okay, yep.
You know, acknowledge that it is a problem. And I like telling people to go for behavioral experiments. Experiment and see, to see whether you believe that if you ask for help, people will reject you. You know, let's do an experiment, see what happens.
Can you illustrate on how to do that, doctor?
Yeah.
Go ask for help.
As simple as that.
As simple as that. Just ask for help, see what happens. How many people actually reject you? Pick 10 people, ask help from 10 people. How many out of the 10 will reject you?
Okay.
You know?
I love that. It's a practical solution.
Yeah, practical solution. It's all practical, so that you get the feedback, whether or not it works. We know research and we know from statistics that you are more likely to get help if you ask for help.
Yeah, for sure.
So do it. And if people do reject you, then at least you know they're not to be your friends.
Not to go to these guys.
Not to go to these guys.
Yeah.
You know? So when you do an experiment, you get that feedback straight away, and that tells you already that, hey, you can actually get help, and it's actually okay to ask for help.
Yeah, it is always okay to ask for help, especially in today's day and age where, like you said, we have the, the empowerment of social media, the existence of borderless interactions right now where everything is so close to you, everything is just at your fingertips in comparison to how it was before. I mean, again, not saying that you're old. I mean, like, we're almost the same age. I mean, in comparison to Mr. Maradona here. Again, we were taught before that we had to be strong. Again, I come from a household where my father was in the armed forces. forces. Because
if you
everything
do.
was like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Again, two peas in a pond, two ducks in the
Yeah.
pond also. Maybe I
Quack.
can use that, yeah, the quack. But yeah, again, it was so much harder before in comparison with today, where today, yes, you are taught, you are advised to go out and speak out your problems and go seek for help. How has the transition been? Why only right now that people are only taking notice that now you need to ask for help? Not how it was before 20 years, 30 years ago. What do you have to say
Well,
about that?
I guess, times have changed since then. We are getting like more woke.
Okay.
And there's been lots of research to show, to
Woke
support that, if you need help, you got to ask for help. And there is help around, and these help are professional help, and they're based on research. It's not just short scenery, you say this will work. It's based on research. There are lots that you can do. For example, we've got something that even our Ministry of Health is focusing on, is mental health and psychosocial support. It's the 5-step kind of thing. So people know where to get support. And one of the difficulties is, of course, we get intergenerational conflict. Our fathers will probably say, don't disclose these kind of things to people.
Yeah.
It may seem that you're weak.
Okay.
That's a belief. But then you can do that behavioral experiment to show, I've done this, and I've gotten help, and I'm better now.
Okay.
So which is the outcome that you would prefer? To seem that you're weak? Seem is usually within us.
And it's not what people say, what's right or wrong. It's what you feel comfortable with. It's what you want at the end of the day, right?
Right. And how it works. And you will see the evidence.
Yeah.
Once things are working better, you are automatically more successful. You attract more people.
Yep.
Because if you're down and you're like edgy, people tend to avoid you, and that's not very helpful if you want to ask for help.
Sure.
Because people run away from you.
So make sure you ask next time, okay? Don't keep it on the side.
I will definitely. But we're already talking about family.
Yeah,
We're talking about upbringing also. So I guess to those parents who are watching at home and they want their children to avoid having Down syndrome, what should they do? How should they prepare their children so that they won't get into this?
Yeah.
Especially at an early age. Yeah.
Is it possible, doctor?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. And some children, no matter how you offer help, they will probably want to keep to themselves. It's personality as well. So that's one of the other factors that may maintain or contribute to Down syndrome, personality. But coming back to the question, you want to have open conversations with your children and be open to providing help. And always say that if you need anything, let me know. And when they do let you know, you want to focus on the objective. Because sometimes when they let you know, they're also in some kind of a trouble.
Yeah.
And if you end up scolding them for the trouble, then they will probably want to avoid that situation
time
again.
around,
So, and that's very difficult because it's our nature to perhaps scold children for making mistakes.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they make a mistake, they need help. But when you scold them, they probably want to shy away from it. So it takes a lot of training as parents also to say like, oh,
Yeah.
calm
A lot
down
of
first.
breathing exercises.
Breathing
you know?
exercises like, right, okay, that's a problem. You broke that because you were not very balanced. What do you think we can do next time?
Okay.
You can always ask them for the solution. If they can come up with a solution, even better.
Yeah.
But they're not likely because they're children.
Yeah.
So you can always show them what can be done next, teach them how to problem solve.
Yeah.
So one of the most important things that we need to teach children these days,
Okay.
and even back those days also, is how to solve problems.
All right, cool. We're almost running out of time. The time, wow, it's actually flying through here. But we do want to ask just now, in regards of kids, how we can actually nurture them, how we can start from a very young age. But what about people like Nabil over here, who's already a grown man here? Should he, go through these kind of thing, having Down syndrome or whatnot, how can me, as a friend, help him to get him out of that?
That's where problem solving comes in as well. All right? And I will go back to the mental health and psychosocial support.
Okay.
First step is always stress management, and one of the ways that we want to focus on and in doing that is to relax.
Okay.
Learn to relax. So Nabil, learn how to relax.
I
Neo,
love it.
learn how to teach him how to relax.
Yeah, okay.
In whatever form that works for
Yes,
him.
doctor, I do have a lot of problems, doctor. I want to tell you all my problems now.
Good. Firstly, relax.
Okay.
So you can go for massage. Like me, I cannot go for massage. I'm too ticklish.
Okay. Okay. Saying that live on camera. Okay, fine. All right.
Fine. I got no shame. I'm struggling. I can tell the whole world on national
There you go.
TV.
There you go.
love this
Confession
openness.
time. Yeah.
I hope we are all more open after this.
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
Malaysians.
So relaxation.
All right.
Secondly, problem solving.
All right.
Learn how to solve problems. Right. And third step would be identify sources you can go to for help. So next time when you have a problem, you can still feel horrible.
Yep.
It's not about how you feel. You can feel horrible. You may not know how to solve the problem. At least you know you got this list of people to help you.
Okay.
There's Mio, there's me, There's me or me.
I'll take down your number after this.
Okay. All right. So you've got relaxation, you've got problem solving, you've got identifying resources. Third is to focus on healthy behaviors, healthy habits. Just keep on doing whatever you need to do to feel better. And the last step is to teach people.
To teach.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
Once you learn all these skills, teach others lah.
Share it with others.
Share it with others, yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that, Prof was literally looking Nabil in the eye, like straight in the eyes, like, okay, Nabil, you hear me out, okay? I want to help you out.
I'm going to become a better person after this show.
Professor is going to be richer after this. Thank you so much to our guests over here, Professor Dr. ALVIN Ng Lai Un, clinical psychologist purposely there from SUNWAY University. Thank you so much for coming down, and hopefully we will become a better person moving forward. Not so much having that syndrome, but maybe, something bigger, dinosaur, so, tougher lah. All right. Thanks so much, Prof.